Thank you for your talk, Wenda. We've all been there.
You can close that.
Yes. Are there any questions? And if there's not, I was indirectly handed a question, and I can talk about that. And it has to do with breathing in Zen practice. What's the correct way to breathe when we're sitting? So you probably already know that breathing is an essential part, of sitting Zen. And at the minimum, you don't have to do anything about changing your breathing, simply to be aware of it. So one form of meditation practice is to count breaths. So certainly be aware of your breathing if you're counting every breath and you count from 1 to 10. Charlie, you have a question to interrupt me with?
Yes, about breathing. I've often followed your recommendation, breathe in, and then when you breathe out, twice as long as.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that.
Okay.
Yes.
But oftentimes when I'm breathing in and breathing out, it feels to me as if I'm drawing in a longer breath. The time it takes to breathe in completely feels more, it feels deeper, but I mean, I can only do what I do. I breathe in and breathe out completely. Can you comment on that too, please?
In fact, I was about to.
Oh, good. Thank you.
You're welcome. So there are different techniques, for, you might call it Zen pranayama. Pranayama means control of the breath. And it really doesn't matter which one you settle on, find something that works for you and stay with it. You might experiment some if one technique, is not working. The general thing is that you should always be aware of your breath when you're sitting. This is beautifully laid out in the Satipatthana Sutra, where Buddha says, sitting is, watch your breath. So there's, some ancient authority for this. And it's not just an importation from yoga, which is where, pranayama is a key practice in yoga. So I will describe the technique that I use, but it's not necessary to use. There are different techniques which I'll then go on to mention. So I coordinate my breathing with a mantra. And that's one way of doing it, of kind of regulating it. So, and it can be any mantra. Let's say Kwanseum Bosal, which some of us use in our practice, is repeating Kwanseum Bosal, Kwanseum Bosal. So the breath begins in the tangen, the lower abdomen. At the beginning of the breath, the tangen expands a little, and then it continues with the rib cage expanding, and finally the top of the chest. So that would be 3 Kwanseum Bosals for me. So Kwanseum Bosal, Kwanseum Bosal, Kwanseum Bosal, and then hold the breath for 1 Kwanseum Bosal. And then the exhalation starts, and it's very slow and very long, and it takes up the remaining 4 Kwanseum Bosals in 1 round of Kwanseum Bosals. So I'm going to chant those 4 in case you don't know it. I think you're probably all familiar with it, and kind of mime the breathing while I'm doing it. So starting from the lower abdomen. Kwan Se Om Bo Sao, Kwan Se Om Bo Sao, Kwan Se Om Bo Sao, holding, Kwan Se Om Bo Sao, exhaling, Kwan Se Om Bo Sao, Kwan Se Om Bo Sao, Kwan Se Om Bo Sao, and then hold it out. You're done exhaling, but hold it out for the last. Kwan Se Om Bo Sao. Just once, let's go through it. I will do the chanting and kind of give you prompts and try to coordinate your breathing with the Kwan Se Om Bo Sao chant. So, Kwan Se Om. You don't have to do it. You're going to be breathing. So I will do the chanting and you do it mentally. Okay? So, Kwan Se Om Bo Sao, 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 Kwan Se Om Bo Sao. So that would be one round of breath. There are other ways to coordinate your breath, and some are simpler than that. I was just showing you the one that I've used for decades now, and hey, it works for me. That's all I'm saying. Yes?
I just wanted to point out that the in-breath and the out-breath take the same amount of time that way.
Yeah, you can have a different ratio. You can have 2 in, 1 hold, 4 out, hold out. That's another ratio. And you can experiment a little to see what ratio works for you. So thank you. Yeah. Are there any questions about breathing?
Well, you were going to ask, you were going to say other techniques.
Yeah, there are definitely other techniques. So Zen Master Sung San recommended a very simple technique. It's based on simply, what am I? Don't know. So you breathe in, 3 breaths, what am I? Then just breathe out, don't know. Yes?
You said 3 breaths, you meant 3 counts.
I mean 3 counts, sorry. 3 segments of inhalation. How's that? Sorry. Yeah, it's not 3 breaths. It's breathe in for what am I? So a 3 count inhalation. So just what am I? Hold for a moment, then don't know. So he recommended other, meditation techniques, but I think that was his favorite. That's my memory. And Judy agrees with me, so it's a fact.
The don't know would last for how long?
I'm sorry?
The don't know would last for how long?
Get the mic.
The don't know exhale would last for how many counts?
Just make it complete.
Oh.
Don't know. Pardon me? 7. Judy says the don't know, it takes 7 counts for her.
Do we need to use prime numbers?
No, that's what he recommended. He recommended 3 in, 7 out. He didn't recommend holding the breath on the top or the bottom.
Yeah.
But, like you say, it's everybody's body's
I
different.
remember it differently. Anyway. And I don't think this is written down anywhere. I think this was strictly an oral transmission. You won't find it, I don't think, in his books. I don't think so.
So he looked at you and he said, you hold your breath. And he looked at me and he said, don't hold your breath.
Maybe that's enough about breathing in Zen practice. Is everyone suitably confused? Okay. I think the main point is find some breathing technique, work with a teacher. If you're not certain, find something that works for you, but make breath a part of your practice. Yes, Jane?
I was just wondering about Charlie's question,
What was that?
that it takes him longer to breathe in.
Yeah.
So should you make sure you're breathing in less time than breathing out? Or
Find
if
a
you're taking a
ratio.
full breath,
Yeah, take a full breath, hold for at least a moment, and a full
so if it takes like
exhalation.
5 or 6
Yeah,
counts to
yeah,
breathe in, you should,
find out what's natural
Okay.
for you.
Okay.
Yeah, experiment
Okay.
and see. And again, the main thing is, yeah, a nice complete inhalation, some small unit of holding it, a nice long exhalation, and you can pause after the exhalation for a moment before the next inhalation. See if that, is congenial. Yeah. Charlie?
Yeah, no,
Wait for the mic.
Mike, you're here on time. Okay. What I find at the end of the exhalation for me is that I don't, if I rush into the breath, it becomes too short. So relaxing at the end of that exhalation is very important in my breathing routine, especially when I'm meditating. But in natural breath, when we're just sitting, I don't breathe rapidly from the exhalation to the inhalation. I don't move very quickly.
No, I'm recommending a pause.
Yeah.
After the
I know,
exhalation.
and
before
I
you
think the
begin.
pause is, it's instrumental for me to be able to get the breath.
Yeah, that's why I recommend it,
Right.
because it's instrumental for Charlie.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a natural thing to do, I think, so,
Yeah, I think it is natural. If you simply pay attention to your breathing, you might fall into this completely on your own. But of course, most of the time we don't pay attention to anything. So, and we find that we can breathe, without asphyxiation, without paying any attention to it. But I think coordinating it with your meditation practice, be aware of your body, be aware of your breath, make it somehow systematic. Yeah. Okay. Are there any other questions?
I have a question. When it comes to the breathing, then if that competes with the wadu, the what am I, don't know,
Yeah.
which then is more important?
You can coordinate the two. You breathe in, what am I? Breathe out, don't know. And
Right.
I don't think they're not in
I wouldn't be able
competition.
to count that and do that at the same
You
time.
don't have to count. You simply breathe in, what am
Okay.
I? And you breathe out, don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
You are counting. What am I? That's 3.
Yeah.
But don't know is just as long as you can make it. You don't have to count anything there. Yeah. We have a hand up here, Tiffany.
Hi, this is hello. This
Hello.
is sort of tangentially hello. This is sort of tangentially related, but do you think it's important to keep the same mantra while you're sitting as you might carry into day-to-day life, or is it okay for those to be different?
Oh, they can be different. If you
Okay.
find there's one that really works day-to-day life during the day, stay with that. And if there's another that works better when you're sitting, sure. Yeah, I don't see any problem with that. Let's consult the other Zen master in the room.
Find what fits.
Just what I said. Okay. Thank you for your question. We now have a question from Tom.
A while ago, I think you had talked about this and also talked about a mantra that the Hong Kong Sangha was using when they were trying to raise money, I believe. What's that mantra?
Judy's pointing at a mantra. Wa Om Song Jong.
That's it.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
what I use myself for my breathing practice. And I like it because of its resonance. Wa Om Song Jong, Wa Om Song Jong. So it has a kind of power for me. And I think certainly for the Hong Kong Sangha. How much money did they raise, I wonder?
I don't know. What I was pointing at was the calligraphy there, which is homage to the beings who heard the Avatamsaka Sutra, because Wa Om is
Yeah.
flower adornment. That's the name of the Avatamsaka
That's,
Sutra. And, it's, Zen Master Sung-san suggested this, if you want to raise money, you chant Hua Om Sungjan. So maybe we need to do, we'll discuss this at the board meeting.
Well, that's not the intention I have when I practice chanting Wahom Sangjong.
But it's-
But if you can help us out.
Yeah, but it's a very powerful, because you're calling on the entire community. It's not just,
Yeah, so
you're
all
not-
the bodhisattvas from infinite time and space were the audience, the preaching of the Avatamsaka Sutra. And some of them, of course, did some of the preaching. And the Chinese calligraphy here, I know about half the words. If you could give us a word-for-word translation, that would be terrific. Thank you. Not right now, but well, you could do it right now. Let everybody. Yeah. Can you give us? Shuang, just.
Well, I can read it right now. I'm not sure about the word-to-word translation, but let's see. 南无华严会上八部四王相，南无华严会上玉色诸天相，南无华严会上诸法善神相。
Thank you. So you heard Wa Om, Wa Yen, that's the Avatamsaka Sutra. So Namu, homage to the Avatamsaka Sutra, is the way each of those three lines begin. Yeah. And it's the rest of the three lines that I need help with.
Oh.
Yeah, not the first four characters.
That's
But
good.
not now, we'll do it later, okay?
Yeah, that's good, because I don't know what 南无华严 would translate, but I kind of know
Oh, we're
the
good on
rest.
that. We're good on Namu Wa Yen. Well, we've come to our half-hour point, so I suppose we have to stop here. And we're going to stop the recording.